Bloomberg Audio Studios.
Podcasts, radio, news.
Kamala Harris outraising Donald Trump by nearly 5-1 among big donors in the final stages of the campaign. One wealthy individual supporting Harris is Mark Cuban, the minority owner of the Dallas Mavericks, and I'm pleased to say that Mark joins us now. Mark, welcome to the program. We spoke to a Trump campaign advisor a little bit early this morning, and I want to start with you in a similar way that I started with him, which is basically I'm waking up this morning, I'm a swing state voter, I'm in Pennsylvania state, and I still haven't decided who I'm going to vote for, and I'm thinking back to how Harris talked about in 2019 that she wanted to ban fracking. I understand she's changed her mind, but I'm worried that she's a bit of a shapeshifter. She gets back into power and she'll change her mind again. How do you settle those concerns?
The world has changed since 2019. She's open-minded. She's talked openly about the fact that she wants to give dissenting opinions a place at the table with her. She's not dogmatic. That's how you explain it. And she's looking to put together the best policy. She said in 2020 that she supported fracking. So I think that's a non-issue. And in terms of, is she just an extension of Biden? Just look at Biden's budget proposal versus what Kamala Harris has actually proposed. Biden wanted much higher taxes. Kamala Harris came in at 28% for tax rate for cap gains and 28% for corporation, and did not say a word and will not say a word about unrealized capital gains. And so I think she's completely different. She's not a shapeshifter in the least bit.
Well, that individual we were speaking to, Scott Bessent, this key economic policy advisor to the Trump campaign, says that Harris, what he hears from a lot of Wall Street journals, that she would be moderated by a Republican Senate. And that's why Wall Street would be willing to vote for her, because of that moderating effect that she would get from a red Senate. Is there any truth to that?
Yeah, of course. I mean, balance is not a bad thing necessarily. I'm not opposed to a divided Congress. But the bottom line is, what will Kamala Harris do? And I think she's better for the economy in so many ways. There's 335 million people in this country. 4 million make $400,000 or more. The other 330 million make less. And she's been very specific that if you make $400,000 or less, your taxes aren't going up. In fact, for 100 million people, they're going down. The other big expense that every household is fearful of is healthcare expenses. Donald Trump has said he has a concept of a plan. Kamala Harris has been very specific on the pharmaceutical side, saying she's going after the pharmacy benefit managers, the middlemen, and she'll introduce transparency. I know from my own personal experiences with cost-plus drugs, that'll lead to a 20, 30% or more deduction in the cost of medications for households and businesses. And then you've got tariffs. As Michael, I think it was, said earlier, tariffs are a bad idea. I mean,
well, if they're so bad, then why did Biden and Kamala Harris keep them? They keep the Trump era tax.
Well, let's talk about that, right? Because that's not completely accurate. First, look at the EU. Biden signed a deal saying that there would be no tariffs between the two, EU and the United States, for the next 5 years. So those tariffs are gone. And then you look at what Trump tried to introduce. He had 4 years to try to implement tariffs that worked, and he got his butt kicked by China. The retaliatory tariffs almost destroyed the soybean and the farming industry, and he had to pay out $20 million. But as it applies to households, right, he's talking about a 60% across the board tariffs for Chinese imports. China makes just about every Christmas present that we buy for our kids. So families would be looking at a 60% or more increase in what they'd spend on Christmas. And the downstream impact of that would be significant to small and large businesses.
Mark, let's talk about something you've been very vocal on. This is regulation. You've said that you don't think Harris should keep Lina Khan, the head of the FTC, on. And Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, the congresswoman from New York, went to Twitter and she said billionaires like you, Mark, are trying to play footsie with the ticket. If anyone goes near Lina Khan, there will be, quote, an out-and-out brawl. Where is Harris when it comes to things like the FTC?
I don't know. I haven't talked about personnel with her or her team. I have no intention about talking about personnel. I was asked a question about what I thought about the FTC, and I thought that, the possibility of breaking up the big technology companies would be a negative, because I think, winning the AI battle for the United States is paramount from a military and an economic perspective. So I voiced my opinion, but I'm not involved in those conversations at all.
But it really raises this ultimate question, which is what policies will she follow? She's been engaging with AOC quite a bit in terms of the campaign trail. And there's a real question of how much there will be an effort to cater to the further left sides of the Democratic wing versus the sort of centrist appeal that she's been trying to have. How much are you actually getting confidence that she's going to have business executives in cabinet positions, in top areas where she really is listening to what they have to say?
I talk to her campaign almost every day. I'm 100% certain. I'm not just confident. I'm certain that that's what they're going to do. I've been on the trail with Doug Emhoff, who, as part of his presentation, talks about what a capitalist she is. She's talked about, wanting to create 25 million new businesses. That's not a reflection of anything far left. She, one of the first things she did was introduce a tax deduction or increase the tax deduction for startup costs to $50,000. That's very important. She recognizes that of the 33 million companies in this country, 99% are passed through, 99% are run by people making $400K or less. Those small businesses are what drive the economy. They create most of the new jobs every single year. So she's focused on an opportunity economy. I don't think she can be any more clear.
Mark, do you think that this campaign for Kamala Harris could have done more to reach out to the male voter? This seems to be an election that is unique in just how bifurcated the male and the female vote really has been. There were some questions around Joe Rogan and how to appeal to the male vote and how to really bring the genders together. What's your take on this campaign's approach to that?
I think it was very data-driven. I mean, women have a high propensity of voting, and with reproductive rights and other issues that were geared towards women, I think she did a great job of connecting to them. Maybe she didn't do everything she could have with men, but that's okay because she went to the people who are going to vote more. You go, as a business person, you go to the people you have the best opportunity to sell to. Who's going to buy your product? Who's going to vote for you in this particular case? And the fact that she's only been in the race 14 weeks and she's caught up completely and now I believe passed her and will win today, I think she's done the exact right thing.
Mark, speaking of business and product, there's a famous quote from Michael Jordan, which I'm sure you know well. Republicans buy sneakers too. It raises a question about you. And I wanted to ask you about this. For a man who's got a line of businesses, why was this important to you to put your name and reputation on the line and really get deep into politics when ultimately Republicans buy sneakers too?
So I'm not going to get deep into politics, but I think this is a close election for a reason. And I think Kamala Harris will be the best president and is a better choice than Donald Trump. It's that simple. I mean, I love this country. I'm in this position because of everything this country has given me. I'm blessed. And I thought, I truly believe that she will be the better president for the United States of America. And that's the only reason I'm doing this.
Well, thank you for sharing your time with us this morning. We appreciate it, Mark. And hopefully we can catch up again soon. Mark Cuban there on the latest campaign effort from the Harris campaign.